These gorgeous Lisianthus flowers are really lovely to pipe. They're a little bit fiddly, but once you've got the technique, you've got it. You can add these beautiful, delicate little petals. You can add these little buds. They're lovely, lovely, realistic flowers to add to your bouquets. They come in all sorts of different colours. They're really popular at weddings as well. So the piping tips that I use for these is a GG 1062 for the petals, this lovely thin crescent shaped tip, and it's that gives you these lovely crisp petal edges. For the buds, I'm just using a number 10 round. For the centres, I'm using a number 235 piping tip. It's this multi-round opening. If you haven't got one of these, you can use a small round piping tip and just pipe a few stamen. But if you can get hold of one of these, they're really handy to have. And for the final bit of detail, I've got some yellow buttercream here. This is a small star piping tip. You can use any small star you've got. I think this one is a Wilton 13. For the green coverage, I've got some gooseberry green here with a number 3 round piping tip, and I've also got the 352 leaf piping tip, so I can add some olive green leaves to fill the gaps. So take up your cupcake and give it a crumb coat with green buttercream. Have a piece of paper towel handy and take up your 235 piping tip. Push all the buttercream down to the bottom and make sure the bag is nice and tight. Now I'm going to come in from the edge of the case a little bit. We're going to make a large flower first, but you don't want to come in too far. So it's not going to be in the centre, it's going to be much closer to the edge than that. So round about a centimetre in, touch down, squeeze, lift, stop and come off, and you've created the centre of the flower. That's why that 235 is so handy. Now take up the GG 1062. Now it's the bottom of the piping tip that I want sticking to those stamen. That's the part that's going to adhere the buttercream so you can create your petals. So I'm going to hold it vertical to the center when I'm piping, and I'm going to make tiny little arch shapes for the petals, and I'm using the curve of the tip to come around those stamen as I pipe the arches. So vertical to the arch stamen, let the base of the tip touch them, pipe a tiny arch, make a definite stop and then come off. So pipe a little arch, stop and come off. Pipe a little arch, stop and come off. And I've done 3 petals not overlapping around the centre stamen. Now I'm going to do 3 to fill in those gaps. So it's exactly the same thing. Pipe a little arch, stop and come off. You can see if you need to twist the piping tip a little bit when you've stopped piping to release the petal, you can do that just gently. So if you make a definite stop when you finish piping, you get a feel for how it's going to be. Pipe an arch, stop, come off. Pipe a little arch, stop and come off. Now if your petals are a little bit flyaway, you can really gently just use your finger to tap them in a little bit, and make sure that your piping tip is nice and clean. So if you've got any buttercream on there, wipe it off, and make sure that your bag's always nice and tight so that your petals, you've got full control over them. So nice tight bag, clean piping tip, and we'll do 3 more petals around these ones. So the base of that tip will adhere to the flower that's there. Pipe a little arch, stop, come off, turn the cake, just knock that one in a bit. So touch with the base, pipe an arch, come off, and another one. And when your flower is the size and the shape that you want it to be, you can stop piping. So we've got lots of petals on there, and now you can add the finishing details to the center of the flower with the little star tip and some yellow. You could use sunflower yellow as well, any color. So just touch in the middle of the stamens and pipe a couple of little stars. Didn't stick. There's just one more. You don't want to cover it, you still want to see the stamen, but just a couple of little yellow bits adds a lovely bit of detail. Now I'm going to put a second one on, and I'm going to make it smaller because I'm piping directly onto the cupcake. If you wanted to do another larger one, I'd definitely use a flower now because it's extremely fiddly. So I'm going to come in even closer to the edge of the cupcake case now for the next one. So about 1/2 centimetre in, touch down and place another centre. And then take up the GG1062 and make sure it's nice and clean and that your bag is nice and tight. Just wipe that bit off and then make sure it's cut. This isn't quite comfortable. I'm going to have a little adjust. There we go. So again, you want to come in vertical to those stamen, pipe a little arch, turn the cake, little arch. Now this middle one is very fiddly, just do the best you can, pull it over, and then put 3 more petals on around the edge, maybe open that up a little bit, clean the tip, and then another petal in here and another one here, and for this one I'm going to leave it at that size. It's come to the edge of the cupcake, it looks really pretty, I like it as it is, so I'm going to leave it there. And now we'll add some buds to the other parts of the cupcake. So I'm going to swap this piping tip out for the number 10 round. Lizzie buds are actually a very pale green colour. So if you wanted it to be really realistic, use a really pale green for your buds. I'm just going to use the pink because I think they look perfectly fine. So I'm just going to touch down and make a cone. About the same height as the flowers, maybe a little bit shorter, and then I'll put maybe 3 in here, and you can vary the sizes of them. So they're our little fillers, and then to finish off the cupcake I'm going to add some greenery. So with the olive green, I'm going to use that with the 352 leaf tip, and then this is a really handy one to add some lighter green detail, and it covers the larger gaps in between the flowers. So make sure your bag's nice and tight, and then just touch down and squeeze up some leaves sort of randomly around the flowers. I'm going to add them mainly around the petals at all different angles, wherever you think they look good. Maybe a couple around the buds as well. And one over here. And then with my darker green, I'm going to add some spiky leaves. So make sure your bag is nice and tight. This one's gooseberry green in this bag. And then I'm just going to touch down on the cupcake and pull up some spike leaves just to fill in the rest of the gaps. And it adds such a beautiful bit of contrast with that olive green. And if you look at bouquets and flowers out in the garden, the main colour you see is green. And it's what makes the petals really pop against it. So if you can add that to your cupcakes when you're making your bouquets, you're adding a bit more realism to them, a bit more detail. If somebody orders one of my luxury bouquets, they'll get a few shades of green in there. It's that makes them pop. And then I'll just finish off this one with the little details in there. And that is how I like to pipe Lisianthus flowers straight onto the cupcake.